Welcome. It's Jazz. Sylvester's definitely awake, so he will probably come from over here down the stairs in order to come bug me once he starts hearing that we are doing a podcast. Because, very importantly, one of the things I wanted to discuss is how we all have companions. It's actually impossible for us to travel alone. So much so to the point that our ancestors and our family will change themselves into different forms just to be with us again. It's wild. I have many companions, but the but is always the tricky part. Most of them are not in a human form. Definitely not my oldest and closest. Not anymore. When I call someone a companion or a partner as a relationship anarchist, that is not something that is inherently sexual. We have mixed up eroticism immensely, which is a known fact. All of the research is out there. The books are there. Certain of you have read them. I am in the midst of reading many of them as well. We're educating ourselves about the things that have been taken from us over these years that we may not have been aware we were actually wielding. It's kind of like having a family heirloom that you didn't realize was something that was actually stolen from somebody else. And then you show it to the person and they go, oh, well, that is my great-great-grandmother's. How did you get that? And things get very complicated, and that's fair. I wanted to talk about companionship and my partners and how we have many different roles and relationships in our lives that need fulfilling. We do want to take care of children or offspring. We want to show that we have the emotional capacity to nurture life and creation into being and to have an influence on it and what it will look like in the end, which is where we're at, the end. It's scary. It's scary to see what you've created blossom. It's scary as a person who has been a matchmaker to see whether or not your matches have been successful or ended in failure. It's very difficult for a parent to lose a child. It is something that I don't really know, but that I have experienced similar situations to. To have the product of my labor and my love and energy be warped into anything that has come to harm or be associated with negative feelings is something that I struggle with. I struggle with the fact that I have created unsafe environments for people in the past by being present when I really knew that I probably shouldn't be. Or there's a whole list. But it's important for us to also be thankful for the companions that we have. Our oldest companions are usually our pets. And our family, our parents, but also our aunts and our uncles, and not just the ones that maybe are related to you by blood, but maybe ones that actually joined into the family. Family friends are important because they've been adopted. Adoption is a very real thing, and it is almost the opposite of murder. And I know people are going to fight me on that. And that's fine. Because I don't really care about fighting. I don't care for fighting. I think that it is a silly thing to do. But it is not silly if you do it fairly. Which I do have a little card. Fire Friends, Interior Alaska Center for Nonviolent Living. This little booklet right here has some very good pointers. Fighting fair in a relationship. Oh, I found this. I have a few of them. Now, this first page, this right here just says to keep your cool. But on the back is actually your very first page. And I'm going to read that because I'm into reading today. Disagreements in any relationship are natural and normal. It is how you handle these disagreements that is important. By learning to fight fairly, you can strengthen your relationship. This is wild. This is wild because what this actually does is it shines a light on one of the biggest myths that we've told ourselves about relationships and how they actually work, right? We have these individuals, and I don't know, like a lot of us have parents that have been together for the past 25, 35 years of our lives. Or we've had really interesting relationships that have developed and been in existence for 15 years plus in the form of partnerships, groups, boards, groupings of negotiators, organizations that have come into existence and started to exert their own power and authority over the situations and people and things, as they always do. That's fine. We're gonna fight, though. We're not always gonna agree. If we agreed on everything, that would be 1, very boring, 2, I don't think we would like what we would see. And people will argue with that. I don't really care. I do care, actually. I care a lot. I care a lot about what people think, how they feel. And I'm willing to take into consideration all angles of a thing before I actually make some sort of judgment. Because how dare? I've been doing a lot of posting on some of the sites and groups that I am a part of on Facebook and getting a lot of criticism and feedback. And I have not going to defend myself. I was stating my opinions from the experiences that I've had, which are a lot of really rather unfortunate ones. And to boot that, I've also just heard about so many other ones because I'm always listening. I'm always eavesdropping, if that's what you want to call it, when people are talking out loud about certain situations at places like the airport and the hospital. We have automatically surrendered parts of our agency, and then we wonder why we feel enslaved. Agency is very important. Agency is freedom, and it's free will. It is the ability to know that you are doing something that you... Well, I'm not going to say that you probably shouldn't, because to say that you probably shouldn't is me putting a judgment out there on your behavior. I will say, though, that and the times of past in our history that we do have access to, however unfortunately flawed and screwed and hidden and back closets with skeletons it may be, we have that history to learn from, to see consequences of mistakes that we have already taken. And, whew, it's like we didn't study for the test today. Yeah. So, staying in and studying and learning and reading. Writers read a lot. People who create things consume other people's content. It is a part of the cycle of inspiration. I started this because I wanted to talk about gratitude, and I've gotten way off track. It's so easy to do. But I am extremely grateful for so many partners in different places that I worry they would hesitate to allow me to give them that title, or even say their names. And to me, that's confusing, because while I do understand the idea of wanting to be separate from the known strings of your influence, there is always the possibility that by stepping back and away from something that you are having trouble doing, you are saying no to the yes that you've been chasing. Okay, I'm gonna go, mostly because I feel like it's a good time for it. My mouth is a little dry, I'm a little thirsty, and I have no clue what all I said just earlier inside of this video, because that's the kind of vibe for today. But I love you still and always, and cheers, right? We are headed straight into New Year's Eve.